America is deeply divided. There are only two sides to every issue, and there is no interest in finding common ground, not even with members of your own family. But as the 2024 presidential election looms on the horizon, there has never been a more important time to have the necessary conversation.
Welcome to the Necessary Conversation. I'm Chad Kultgens. With me this week is my sister Haley. We are both lefties, and we are having conversations with our parents, who are both deep QAnon, MAGA, Trump supporters, and we talk about political issues. We are a family. That's correct. Talking about political issues across the divide. Now, last week we didn't have an episode. Haley, why was that?
I was out of town celebrating my birth.
Okay.
Congratulations.
What more do you want? I don't know.
But
I don't know.
At least a little bit of notice so that we can say
Okay.
something at the end of the episode. If
Okay,
anyone
okay.
knows they're going to be gone in the following week, just tell me. That's all.
We went to New York City, saw some Broadway plays,
Oh,
walked
nice.
a whole bunch. Very nice. Good time. Didn't want to come back.
and yes, you should have told us in advance, because my fans, everybody was on me and asking why we didn't have the pod.
It was kind of a last minute, spur of the moment decision. So my apologies. Next time I will give you my 2 weeks notice.
Thank you. And to everyone else who was DMing me, this is the reason. Our apologies for no episode last week, but we're back. And we're going to start today by talking about a prediction. Dad, you made this on January 29th. You said a nuclear weapon would be used in Ukraine within 30 to 40 days. We are now 84 days past that prediction. More than double your maximum time limit. No nuclear weapon is used. Has your prediction failed?
No.
Okay. Let's move on. We are going to open the show today, as we do every week now. We take questions from listeners. If you want to submit your question, you just put it in an email and send it to thenecessaryconversationpod@gmail.com. And I think I might start doing it like this. If you can, record it in a 1 minute or shorter audio format. This could just be a voice note on your phone, and email it again to thenecessaryconversationpod@gmail.com. Instead of getting these massive texts. I appreciate everyone sending me their emails. Sometimes I just don't have time to read the ones that are like novel length. So I think if we do this in a minute audio format, that might be a little better. Nonetheless, what's
we
that?
really have an audience that big that's giving you novels. I like it.
All right. Well, this is not a novel, but this is a question that comes from Cassidy from The Source, Dallas, Texas. The question is as follows. Hi, Chad. Thanks for doing this with your family. My simple question to your parents is the following. What if one of their family members, example, Haley's kids, came out as transgender? Would your parents stop speaking to their grandchildren? Would they sit in front of their grandchildren and tell them they are wrong and they don't believe them, that they're going to hell, that you and Haley corrupted them? Would they be willing to alienate their family because of these beliefs versus learning what a transgender person has to say?
Well,
Dad?
that question makes me mad right there, because whoever that is doesn't even know what we're
Cassidy
talking
from
about.
Dallas, Texas.
Okay, she doesn't even.
Cassidy's full of shit.
Yeah.
All right.
How so?
First of all, our grandchildren, 2 out of the 3 are too young to make that decision right now, and we would talk them out of it
Why would you talk them out of it?
because they don't know what they're doing, and it's too early in life to make that kind of permanent decision.
Would you do the same thing if they were gay?
Probably not.
Okay.
That doesn't
Interesting.
involve chopping stuff off or hooking
Or-
things on
Or taking hormones.
totally changing your.
Neither does being transgender necessarily.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. And just because
No.
it's
Not
No,
for
cool,
everybody
it
who's
does. You're full of
transgender.
shit, You're full of shit. You're full of shit.
just because
Some-
it's cool in the
I-
culture too, people are pushing kids into this.
Transgender is 100 times different than gay.
I don't think you understand what like the scope of transgender means. It's not just people who have dysphoria
Sex change
and then
operation?
no,
Yes,
it's
it
not
is.
just that.
Oh,
Okay,
yes, it
Let her
is.
speak.
It-
let her
It
if you-
speak.
isn't.
No, it's not.
It is. Well, it is to us.
Like just
Right.
being
That's all- and that's
being
all that
non-binary
matters
falls
in
under
this
that
room.
umbrella.
Okay. What, Haley?
Being non-binary falls under that umbrella. People who just don't identify as either female, male,
So they're fucking
masculine,
amoebas.
feminine.
Yeah.
They're
Um,
amoebas.
So they
It-
don't have a penis or a vagina?
They're just amoebas.
They do, but
They're irrelevant to me.
what you don't acknowledge is that your biological genitalia doesn't define how you perceive yourself.
It does too.
It doesn't.
So
It
the answer
should.
to this question is then, if your grandchildren came out as transgender, you would try to convince them that they were wrong.
Yes,
Well, number one,
that's my answer.
they're way too young to even
Forget
talk about
the
that.
youth. Forget that question. Let's say they do this when they're 25 years old.
I would sit down and talk with them and say, why? What are you talking about? Tell
Mhm.
me.
It's permanent. You're a dumb shit. But go ahead.
All right.
But,
Well,
but
Cassidy,
you wouldn't like kick them out. They're not Napoleon to a fucking island. Like you would still accept it and they'd be your family.
Yes, but I don't think that would ever happen. I think
Right.
it might happen earlier because people would push them into it.
the theoretical question is, what if it did happen though?
Still family.
But Dad, to you,
Wouldn't be on my best side of the world. Let's put it that way.
But then I saw this I shouldn't say
Okay.
thing. It was a person on TV that you could tell was a man yelling at people saying, if you think you're going to stop me going into a women's restroom,
I'd shoot that sucker so fast it'd
Yeah.
make your head
he
spin.
said, if you think you're going to stop me, I'm going to go in there and beat everybody's ass. I'm like, what?
okay.
Yeah.
I think we've
you want to go to guns, Missy? Let's get them on.
all right.
Let's see who the baddest ass in town is.
You want to
It
go
ain't
to
you.
guns? Let's go to
So,
guns.
Somehow this question
Oh,
about
guns are coming, by the way.
Okay,
Let's go to
okay.
guns.
I know we have a big segment coming up about all
We're
the shootings that
almost
are happening
there,
around the
sweetheart.
country, but
Guns
somehow
are
this question
almost
about
there.
Okay.
your grandchildren being
Blood's
transgender went
gonna
immediately
fly.
to you killing
Guns
people.
shooting people
That's
in the
interesting.
head.
Thank you, Cassidy, for your question. Again, if anybody wants to send in a question, please, if you can, record it in a 1 minute or shorter audio format. Send it to thenecessaryconversationpod@gmail.com.
Can
Now-
I get my 2-minute rant in before we start?
Of course, please rant
Okay.
away.
First of all,
First away.
the Biden administration is loaded with the dumbest, most ignorant fucking people I've ever seen in my life. We're going to start with the fat black man
Agree.
who pretends to be a prosecutor in New York.
Agree.
Hang on one second. Mom, can you just get the camera so that it's on Dad's face at all?
Yeah, get it on my face. There
That'd
you
be
go.
helpful.
First of all, he's the most ignorant fat black man on the planet Earth. And the only person dumber than he is in the
Okay.
current White House is the most ignorant pygmy they put up there as a press secretary every day.
Okay.
There
It's
you
not
go.
Biden? Biden's not the most ignorant person in the White House?
Oh, no, because he doesn't run anything. Susan Rice
Okay.
is running the show. She's loaded that entire administration with the dumbest people on planet Earth. And yes.
How about the border guy?
Oh, well, there's no even reason to talk about Mayorga. That
Okay.
guy, he's such a fool. You have elected Barack Obama, who wanted to destroy America, for another 4 years when you elected Joe Biden. Because all he is a sellout to the Chinese, and he does everything Susan Rice tells him to do.
Okay.
That's why you've got such an ignorant fucking administration.
Okay. Thank you
All
for
right.
the rant.
Thank you for the rant. Let's move on. Our first topic this week is the Biden laptop. Mom expressed interest in producing this segment. So take it away, Mom.
And yeah, I had a little trouble in this because
You have 7 minutes.
I couldn't use the printer. So I've got note cards. I've got a little bit of printing. Dad was afraid I was going to use up the ink. Okay. The IRS agent alleges Hunter Biden probe is being mishandled, and this special IRS agent is seeking whistleblower protection to disclose information about all the mishandling. A letter was sent last week to Democrats and Republican members of Congress. Mark Lydell, who is the attorney for the IRS whistleblower, wrote to lawmakers Wednesday that his client has information about a failure to mitigate clear conflicts of interest in this I can't say it.
Position.
Yeah, I said it. Of this investigation related to Hunter's taxes and a false statement in connection of a gun purchase.
Yeah.
The lawyer added his client, the whistleblower, is able to contradict the sworn testimony to lawmakers by a senior political appointee who was not named,
Merrick Garland,
but we would assume it was Merrick Garland.
who lied to Congress.
Okay, Hunter's taxes and foreign business work have been under investigation by a federal grand jury in Delaware since 2018. So far, no changes have been made at all. Imagine that. No charges brought, nothing brought up against him. Joe Biden, the big guy, says he has never spoke to his son about foreign business dealings at all.
We all now know that's a lie.
The whistleblower letter,
Proven lie.
first reported by the Wall Street Journal, comes as now House Republicans also are opening their investigation into his business dealing, examining foreign payments and other aspects of his finances. Now, this letter is so important because this was the letter that during the campaign debates in October of 22, it was October 22, 2 years ago in the debates against President Donald Trump, that this was brought up. And this is what Biden said at this time about that. He called it classical remarks of Russian disinformation operation. And this is what he says.
50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plant.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
And that's exactly what.
Is this
that's
where you're
exactly
going?
what.
This is
told.
where he's going. The laptop is Russia,
Yes.
Russia.
Tiana, your thoughts?
We now know that this was a catch and kill operation done by the deep state. The Delaware laptop repair salesman gave that laptop to the FBI in 2019, and they sat on it. And then when the New York Post was going to drop that story, the FBI tipped off Twitter so that way they could suppress it. It is absolutely damning that Mike Morrell, who again is a political independent, he said that he signed on to the letter specifically because he wanted Joe Biden to win that 2020 presidential election.
50 former national intelligence folks.
There we go. That was it.
And all 50 of them are liars.
They're Russian.
Okay.
And in the tank for the
Okay.
Chinese.
So, in the end,
Beijing Joe.
in the end of all of
And
this,
his big brother daddy, Barack Obama. And that's who's behind all of this bullshit.
Morrell identified as a potential CIA director under Biden. He said he organized the letter to help Vice President Biden because I wanted him to win the election. He had 50 colleagues sign that letter
And guess who they are?
That said-
Clapper, etc.
that said it
all
was
bullshit.
Russian disinformation. Well, now we have a whistleblower that will come forward and say it was not and tell all the lies that they're talking about, but he wants protection.
Oh, and
So the whistleblower is asking for protection, and his attorney, Mike Lydell, gave a letter to Democrats and Republicans last week in the House and Senate, and they're hoping to get him some protection that he can tell the fucking truth.
And while you guys are sitting there with your thumb buried in your ass, the Chinese are slowly turning the dollar goodbye into the yuan. And once that happens, your life as you know it is over.
Wow, I didn't know that one.
And it's right on the verge.
Okay, so my
They've already
question,
got Saudi Arabia, Russia. It's called the BRICS countries, and Saudi Arabia's about to jump in. They're all going to go to the yuan instead of the dollar, which means our dollar isn't going to be worth shit. Joe Biden can no longer run the printing presses to try to keep the dollar in place because it's not going to happen. So what that means is the yuan is going to become the standard of how you transact business.
okay,
And it means you as an American are no longer in charge of shit.
I think Dad wanted to have a segment but didn't tell us. Okay, going back to my
I'm
segment,
trying to educate the uneducated.
Haley,
Thank you.
Yeah.
will
Okay.
will that whistleblower, if he comes forward, have any impact on the Hunter Biden crackhead investigation?
I honestly don't give a shit if they did shit wrong. Like, we continuously say this. If there is fucking corruption in the system, put them in jail. Next.
not
I just
corruption in
kind
the
of
system.
don't care. I don't
They're
give a
Also,
shit.
Hunter
they're
Biden
selling
isn't
your
in the
country.
government.
Here-
He's not
now,
like
wait a
Jared
minute.
Kushner.
Okay.
You two have to hear this.
Okay.
You should give a shit because he's not just doing corruption.
Yeah.
He's selling your country, and you aren't going to have a country.
You
And
act
you're
like
too
Donald
damn
Trump
stupid.
didn't do any of this.
And
You
you're
always
too
act
damn
like Donald
stupid.
Trump
And you're
didn't do this very fucking thing.
He did not.
They didn't sell our country away to
No.
China.
And
He
your
literally
boy
had
did.
Chinese officials at Mar-a-Lago when he had classified documents there.
Yes, right.
He did.
He
Joe,
did-
Joe had him. Joe had him living in his garage.
He didn't have a letter typed up with 50 signatures and lie about all that stuff to allow.
But he lied about 1,000 other things.
And he's
No,
on
he didn't.
tape asking somebody to find him 11,000 votes to fix
Yeah.
an election. I mean,
Oh, look.
look, they
you
all
know
commit
what?
crimes.
You know
I
what?
I
They were
agree with what
there.
Haley said.
They
If
were
Hunter
there.
Biden is guilty of crimes, put him in fucking jail. I'm not trying to
Well,
protect the
yeah.
guy. I don't like the
It'd be
fucking
nice-
Bidens
it'd be
either.
nice it'd be nice if we had a DOJ or an FBI that would do it, but they're not. They're totally corrupt. They
They're
need
not
to go.
backing.
They have to
Okay.
go bye-bye.
They're not backing the truth. And
And
guess what?
you're going to wake up one morning and the world you live in won't be the same. And
That's
you're going to
true.
And
but
you're
not
going to
because of
your
politics.
pants. It's
You're
gonna
going to
be
shit
because-
your pants because
Anybody
that
on
new world is going to be
Snapchat?
built on artificial intelligence.
Are you guys on
Well-
Snapchat, like talking to AI? Are you doing this at all?
The Snapchat
I'm
AI
scared.
sucks, by
I'm
the way.
scared to do it. I don't
I'm
want to
doing
do
all
it.
kinds
I
of
did
AI
see
stuff.
it. I'm not doing
I would
it.
point you to Good Morning America, where they played a clip from
Oh,
the
there we
Dudesy
go. Good
podcast,
morning, America.
starring
There's our
myself,
real
Did they
talking
really?
about artificial intelligence. Yeah, and CNN.
They really
yesterday.
did?
They really did.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a real standard for you.
Why did my segment just get like all butchered up? Because I'm usually better than this.
I'm not sure.
Chad, the question goes to you. Will
Yeah.
the whistleblower have any impact on Hunter Biden's investigation?
I doubt
Will-
it. I don't think any of these politicians will ever stand to face any real consequence. Neither will their children or anyone close to them.
So
I think
Trump,
just like Trump got all
Not
of his
right.
family out of shit,
Yeah.
Biden will do the same.
okay. And Trump's going to get out of what he's in now too. That's totally nothing too.
I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Okay. Well, one more little part of my
Well, the
segment.
fat black man won't hold up.
All
One,
right, hurry. You're already
one
over
more little
time,
part of
Mom.
my
Your
segment.
producing
Well,
skills
if
are.
everybody would stop
You have to control it. This is how you produce the segment.
Okay. 6 more members of the Biden family have been identified by the House Republicans as possibly benefiting from family business deals now under the investigation by the GOP led by the House Oversight Committee. So now 9 Biden members have gotten kickbacks from different
China.
countries. And
Yeah.
that's okay?
There's
guys
like
think that's
13 members of the Trump cabinet and inner circle that are fucking in prison.
Yeah.
Oh, look what you're doing. Look what you're doing. You're not
doing-
answering my question. You're
Yeah,
throwing it
exactly.
back on something else.
I'm using your argumentative terms. I agree. That is bad. They should all be in jail if they're doing illegal shit.
Okay. All
Just
right.
like Donald Trump and his whole family.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
All right, is that it? Have you produced
That's
your
it.
segment?
I'm done. Stick a fork in it.
All right, let's move on. Thank you, Mom. Very well produced.
Oh, yeah,
Biden's
right.
laptop, the Biden children problems keep coming up again and again and again. We'll see what happens with them. Let's move on. Our second topic is multiple shootings this past week. Last week, there were 4 so-called wrong place, wrong time shootings that made the news, prompting new conversations about gun ownership and the rights of gun owners regarding when and how weapons can lawfully be used. Shooting 1 occurred in Kansas City, Missouri on April 13th when an 84-year-old white homeowner named Andrew Lester fired 2 shots from a .32 caliber revolver at a 16-year-old black teen named Ralph Yarl, who mistakenly rang Lester's doorbell just before 10 p.m. Yarl was at the wrong house while he was trying to locate his 2 brothers. Yarl was shot in the head, but is currently recovering and will survive. Lester will face 2 felony charges of assault in the first degree and armed criminal action. Shooting 2 occurred in a rural upstate New York area on April 15th when a 65-year-old man named Kevin Monahan fired 2 shots from his front porch at cars full of young people in his driveway that had just turned around after looking for a party in the neighborhood. Again, just before 10 p.m. 24-year-old Kaylin Gillis was killed by the bullet that struck the car driven by her boyfriend. Monahan refused to leave his house to cooperate with police, and when they arrived on the scene, he has shown no remorse over the incident. He has been charged with second-degree murder. Shooting 3 occurred outside Austin, Texas on April 18th around midnight when a 25-year-old Pedro Rodriguez Jr. Shot 2 cheerleaders, 21-year-old Heather Roth and 18-year-old Peyton Washington, who accidentally got into the wrong car in a supermarket parking lot. Washington reportedly got out of the car once she saw Rodriguez in the passenger seat and realized her mistake, but he followed her to her car and opened fire. Rodriguez Jr. is accused of deadly conduct with a firearm, a third-degree felony. Roth was treated at the scene, and Washington is currently in the hospital battling
And
critical
so
wounds.
it begins.
Yeah.
Shooting 4 took place April 18th. A 24-year-old Robert Louis Singletary shot a 6-year-old girl and her parents after her basketball rolled into his yard. The shooting was not fatal. All 3 victims are recovering. Singletary is charged with 4 counts of attempted murder, 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, and 1 count of possession with a firearm by a felon.
And if all these guys were black, they wouldn't be charged with anything.
Well,
Okay.
one of them is black. That guy's
Oh,
black.
there we
Robert
go.
Louis Singletary's black.
There
And
we
he's
go.
charged with 4 counts of attempted murder, 2 counts of assault with a deadly
And
weapon,
so
and 1
it
count of
begins.
possession.
The pushback is coming.
The
Okay.
push.
Were any of these shootings justified? Dad,
Doesn't matter.
No,
Mom, no?
no,
Haley?
no. But
No.
people are scared now. People
And
are
they're not.
getting
They're not
scared.
going to allow.
Scared of a fucking 6-year-old in her basketball?
Yeah, they're not
The
going
fuck?
to allow. Well, all this is there's a lot of rage going on right now, and I've been telling you it's coming. And
Dad,
this is
would
just
you?
this is the tip of the fucking iceberg.
Yeah,
Dad,
would
would
you
you-
shoot somebody in the driveway?
Depends on who it was.
If they tried
What
to
does
come
that
into
mean?
my-
If
if they,
there was a carload of black teens that looked like they were going to attack my house, you damn right.
What?
What?
So just black people? You would just shoot black people for being black?
Well, that's who's causing all the
So
corruption.
you would have
Black
shot.
teens.
You would have shot
town-
Ralph
every
Yarl.
town, every Democratic town in this country is overrun by black teens because they're not afraid of
What?
anything.
have you not
You
seen
not
are you
watch
talking
the
Chicago?
fucking news?
What's happening in Chicago? Where they're just raging at night?
I mean, let me read these stories
They're
again.
beating people.
okay.
Ralph
Well,
Yarl
I'm
was
not-
basically fucking Roman,
Now you're
and he
not
got shot in the
listening.
head trying to pick
Listen.
up his
And these
siblings
2
from a fucking
cheerleaders were
house.
white
You're not
teenage girls.
listening. You're not listening.
You're
to me.
not listening to me.
I don't
You're not
give a
listening to the
shit what you're
facts.
saying. I don't care what
Okay.
you're saying.
Well, then why would I
I'm
care what you're
telling
saying?
you. I'm telling you.
I don't care what you're saying.
that the
I don't care what you're saying.
lawless teenage blacks in these jungles that they call cities are going to get the fucking repercussions,
Uh-huh.
and it's coming.
Why do you
And
think
you're
this is
gonna
happening?
and you're going to have a bunch of crazies
Right.
that start doing it too soon to the wrong people, and that's what you got now.
None
But
of these
eventually you're
instances were
gonna-
that.
Eventually, you're going to get down to a race war.
Okay.
Get goddamn ready for it.
Okay.
Chad, what were you saying in Haley?
Why do you think this is happening, Haley?
I mean, it's several reasons. The moment that Trump was elected, it was a fucking free for all
Well,
for racists to
here's
just
the
fucking come
story.
out of the woodwork.
But some of these things
What
aren't
in
about
the fuck
racism.
are you talking
What
about?
are you talking
Obviously,
about?
gun control. Anyone and
Yes.
everyone can have a fucking gun. You don't even have to have a license in some places.
Oh
You can
my
just roll.
That
up
was only
anywhere and
200
buy
years
one.
before Trump.
A
and
fucking
stupid
84. He
shit.
was 84 that shot
Yeah.
Ralph Yarl, like fucking senile with a
Right.
goddamn gun, racist
Yeah.
piece of shit.
And
like,
that
that's
one might
right.
have
There
had
you
a
go.
race component, but some of these don't. Some of these are people of the same race shooting each other.
It's guns.
Yeah.
It's guns. It's lack of gun control. It's
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 people like
fucking
us shooting
Occam's
people
razor.
like
It's
Haley.
literally
No,
Mental.
of
The
course it's gun
simplest
control.
explanation.
You look at a place like
It's
Japan.
not gun control.
It
It's
is.
mental. It's
Our
people
country is the
losing
only
their
country that has
fucking
shit like this
minds.
happening.
It's people losing their minds.
It's because it's the United States and you can get away with it.
Well, these people can't get away with it. They're all charged with murder. Now,
Oh, and how many of them will go to jail? Who knows?
all of them.
probably
No.
all of them, I would guess.
Only the white ones.
No.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll keep following
Yeah,
the
we'll
story.
see.
If I
We're gonna
may,
see.
I think it's happening because in the last, 5-6 years, really Maybe it was even back into Obama.
Obama.
But there was something that happened in America where I think all of us psychologically got to a point where it was immediate hatred for anybody who wasn't on your side. And now we all have that capability in our brain to see a person and imagine they are not like you, so they should fucking die. And now that gets translated to a 6-year-old girl rolling her basketball in the front yard. And you're like, fuck her, kill her. And these stand your ground laws and everybody getting more guns. I read a big article about how gun sales are on the fucking rise and everybody's getting scared, as you guys are saying. So we are now a country of fear. And I think primarily, Mom and Dad, most of what you operate off of is fear as well.
No, it's hate.
Yeah, I
That
won't
is fear.
let.
Hatred is
I'm
fear.
not going to let someone come in my front door and try to kill me without trying to take
None of
them
these
down.
people are trying
Nobody
to kill
did that.
anyone. This was a little girl with her basketball. It was somebody who accidentally got into the wrong car. It was a car pulling into a driveway to check their GPS to see where the party was. And it was somebody trying to look for his brothers that he was picking up after school. None of these people were coming in to do any kind of bad home invasions or try to kill anyone.
Then those people had to be scared of something to shoot them.
Or just completely angry and able to see any human being that is not them as the other and deserving of
That's
death.
how it all starts.
And needs mental help,
And
which
it's gonna
our
get-
country gives
it's
to
gonna
no
get
one.
worse, not better. You'll see.
Right. Okay.
Needs-
Do you think the stand your ground laws at all, or the castle law, every state or all the states that have these stand your ground laws, they call them by different things, but they essentially say if somebody's on your property, you can fucking kill them. Do you think those laws apply here?
I think they
Um,
apply if you're afraid for your life
Yeah, if they're coming at you to kill you.
or break
But-
your house down or do whatever it is. Yes.
How, I mean,
Sure.
afraid for your
If-
life is a
if
very
someone is-
subjective thing.
fucking ass away in
If
the
someone's
driveway.
trying to break into your house, if someone is literally wearing a fucking ski mask and looks like they have a weapon, like all of these things considered, sure. But these were fucking kids at a door, kids in somebody's wrong car.
You're not listening. This is how it starts.
That what is
How
happening
what
though?
starts? You're saying the
other-
race war?
Yes.
Yeah, the other circumstances that are
It's
not
coming to a town near you.
What-
that are
okay, what
not
do you-
like
Mom, I'm sorry. I just have to
Yeah.
probe this a little
Yes.
further, and then we'll get to
Probe
your
it.
point. Dad, what
Probe
does
it.
this race war look like to you?
It looks like
Chicago, what we saw.
it looks like white people who are afraid
Chicago.
of these unruly teens that can get away with murder, do whatever the fuck they want, get fed up with it, and start taking them down. And that's gonna happen.
In Chicago, in a high rise.
They're gonna get shot.
There is
You watch
probably-
and see. There's only two ways to control this bullshit: respect or fear. And they don't fucking respect the law anymore, so they're gonna have to fear the shit out of the
You
rest
don't
of us.
respect the law. You're constantly
Oh,
talking
yes,
about how
I
the
do.
DOJ and the FBI should be fucking dismantled. You don't
Yeah.
respect it either.
You know why? Because they
Doesn't
don't
matter.
do shit.
Okay, well,
They're
imagine
lawless.
thinking that about the cops.
They're lawless.
Well, the cops don't do shit now. That's why you got all these teens breaking into shit,
Right.
beating
So the
the shit out
respect
of
or
ladies
fear
on the
doctrine
street.
that you're trying to lay out
Yeah.
doesn't apply there either.
Well, okay. What I'm trying to tell you, you stupid fuck, is that the DOJ and the FBI and the police are never going to stop it. So you know who's going to stop it?
Us.
People like us.
Okay, so you're willing to kill.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
if someone in our yard
You kick in my front door, you're going to catch more lead than you think is even possible.
Or
And
s-
I will empty that fucking gun into you.
now we're not going to shoot people that are in our yard for no reason, but if they try to
Okay.
start a fight with one of us or beat one of us up,
Or 2 carloads of black teens pulls into my driveway and bails out of the car. The lead's gonna fly, motherfucker.
Why black teens? What if it's two carloads
Because
of
that's
white
who's
teens?
causing.
What if it's
that's-
white teens?
Well, they're
Either way.
they're not causing trouble.
Unreal.
Either
Unfucking
way.
real.
Unfucking real. It's true. Everything I see on TV is a bunch of black kids beating the shit out of somebody.
look at the Chicago tapes that they just released this last week.
You don't live in Chicago.
You damn right.
I know.
And it probably ain't gonna happen to me. But if they pull into my driveway, they're gonna get lit up like a fucking
Okay,
Christmas
let's say it's
tree.
10 o'clock at night. You don't know who's in the car. You can't tell their race, but 2 cars pull into your driveway and they're just idling. You can tell they are full of people. You don't know how old. You don't know who they are.
I'll go
What
out.
do you do?
I would
I'll-
grab our gun.
I'll take my gun out front. I'll shoot it in the air 2 times and tell them to get the fuck out of my driveway, or the next 3 rounds go straight into the car.
Okay.
Your call, motherfucker.
Oh my goodness.
All right, let's move on to our common ground simmer down. We've gotten heated
And
over
I'm
this.
telling you, this shit
It's just
isn't
starting.
it's in a year away, motherfucker. You're gonna see.
Okay. Well, hopefully that prediction will
you-
be about as
I was
accurate
gonna
as your
say, are you
nuclear
another
adding
weapon
that?
prediction.
Add it.
I
Oh,
don't
the
think there's
nuke
going to
war-
be a
the
race
nuke
war.
The nuclear war is a done deal. Hell, fucking even dipshit up there in Omaha, Buffett.
Buffett is
He
afraid.
loses sleep at night worrying about a nuclear war more than he does the stock market.
Okay.
Let me say one more thing. You know, these people going around and like you said, the kids, the girl, the basketball had, you know, just, and then boom. I think there's a lot of people in our country right now on antidepressant medicine. That kind of medicine makes you do weird shit like that and F's you up. So I think a lot of the people in the United States right now are mental.
They're
They're mentally off their blocks.
And you're seeing a world of people like us who are fucking sick and tired of this shit.
Okay.
And what they're doing is, and you don't know the whole story either. These and I'm not saying he should have shot the girl.
That's
what
not
I'm
right.
saying is you don't
Wait,
know.
what's the whole story behind a 6-year-old girl and a basketball getting
I'm
shot?
not talking about that. The rage that the guy showed might have been over years of this shit going on.
Of course.
Here's why I have rage.
But do
right
you know
now.
what? Do you know how many people die when you have 0 guns?
It's never going to happen.
As many as the bad guys want to die because they'll have the gun.
Look at Japan, for example. They had
look
7
at Japan.
deaths by
Let's
gun
look at
last year.
Japan.
They have
Let's
some of
look
the
at
most
Japan.
stringent gun laws in the world.
Yeah, and their prime minister
No
got
mass
fucking
shootings.
killed.
No
Here's
mass
why I
shootings.
have rage.
Yeah, and it's no mass shootings, but they still have murders and shootings from guns.
Seven.
And one of them
last
was
year.
the prime minister.
Okay, here's why I
But
have rage.
It's about the numbers. You don't have little girls rolling their basketballs into front yards and getting fucking
That's
shot.
right. That's right.
Here's why I have
You also don't have freedom over
Nobody
there.
cares again. Here's why I have rage. Let me try this one again. The Tennessee 3 are going to the White House on Monday because they were invited by Biden.
Yeah.
Jones was engaged.
Who's a total racist.
Was engaged in protests long before his political career. He was in 2 different accidents where he got he assaulted a driver and also a Tennessee state trooper. They get invited to the White House. How about the poor children that died in that shooting? He will not meet with their parents at all. That's why I'm enraged. That's why I get mad. He is one of the worst presidents we've ever had in the history of the United States.
And he caters to black racists.
That's why I get mad. That's why I get mad. I'm enraged over that right there.
Right. And Donald Trump did similar dumb shit
No,
that
he
was
didn't.
Yes, of
Donald
course he did.
Trump
He held a
Wait.
Bible upside down in front of a fucking church after he smoke bombed people to get him out of the way so he could do a photo op.
Yeah,
He was
sure.
throwing
Okay.
paper towels at her.
Look
paper
what you're
towels.
Puerto
doing.
Rico.
Stop. Look what you're
Puerto
doing.
Rico.
You're doing the but Donald Trump did.
Well,
Yes.
I'll tell you what,
Because I'm
you
trying to
better
get you to
you better put
understand
on your
it's all the
2024
same. It's all the same. The rage you feel at Biden for these actions, you should also feel at Trump because he does the same shit. Now, look, we got to move on. We've gotten heated. Let's simmer down a little bit. This week, new UFO video evidence was released by the Pentagon in an open Senate hearing. Did you guys see this video?
Yes, I did. Did you?
Okay. Yes.
Of the UFO.
Fuck no.
Do
Don't care
you not
about
think
no-
UFOs are real, Dad?
Don't give a shit.
Okay.
Interesting.
The Chinese will
does.
have you by the balls before you ever see a UFO.
The Chinese.
Nope, that's wrong. I've seen
All right.
multiple UFOs in videos released by the Pentagon
Oh,
over the
yeah.
past 2 or 3 years. This video,
Clinton.
very
and you
chilling.
believe and
It's
you
It
a
believe
is.
silver orb just flying
Just
over the
chilling.
Middle East.
Just chilling.
And this comes only a few weeks after a Harvard professor who studies deep space and a Pentagon official released a joint paper that says, essentially, there's probably a mothership somewhere within the vicinity of our solar system, and these UFOs are probes that it's sending to gain research, collect data about humanity.
Get rid of us.
I believe it. I believe
World
it.
War III or World War of the
War of the
I-
Worlds. That's what you're looking for.
Uh,
War of the
well,
Worlds.
I
don't
watching
think
these
there's-
videos.
I'm
watching
70
these
years
videos.
old, but I can think on my feet.
You didn't even watch the fucking video. It's kind of
Don't give a shit.
terrifying. It's kind of
It's irrelevant.
scary.
I watched it. It is scary. Yeah.
I loved it. I was not
How is
scared
it
at all.
irrelevant?
And you know what?
because they
I
haven't
saw-
done shit.
I saw another clip where some high official lady said, or she asked a
When
question.
a three-toed goon comes trucking across your lawn, then you can worry about
She
it.
asked the question, the guy, how many more of these are documented, and how many do we have like this that we haven't even, we don't know why?
Correct.
He said 600 and so
Live
many.
it up,
Oh,
kids.
Over
Live it up.
600.
Yeah,
Over
600.
600.
It's coming to an end.
Uh-huh.
You think humanity's coming to an end because of this?
I think, as far as the world that we know, yes. I think
do you-
you're gonna be under Chinese rule, and anybody who's not Chinese going bye-bye.
What do you think they
How
are
did you
doing
turn this
though?
to Chinese rule? We're
Yeah.
talking about UFOs.
What do you
Because
think they're
the-
doing for real? Like just
Who the UFO?
information?
data.
They're
Like
just
I mean,
observing.
Look,
Probably
this,
been
this
doing
is
it for 50 years.
And
yeah,
our
I mean, they've been
government
here
lie.
since at least the 1940s. We know that.
Well,
for
there
fact.
you go.
At least. I would
What
argue
about that-
probably
So-
way
so
before
you
that.
fear the mothership blowing your ass up more than
No.
you do the fucking.
I don't
Chinese.
think they're going to blow us up.
What about Hangar 51 or whatever? That's
Area
real.
51.
Area 51.
Area,
Yeah, it
that's
was.
real, right?
It was yes.
Probably, yeah.
Basically, what has happened in the last 3 to 4 years is the United States government has come out and openly admitted they've been lying to the American public for 80
Yes.
years about the
Yes.
existence of UFOs, discrediting people, destroying their lives, ruining their
Yes.
careers, who
Right.
tried to come out and say that they
What?
had any evidence.
Yes.
So
Yes.
does that so are we now revisiting people who have said they've been abducted? Do you think that's real?
The door is now open. How far do you want to go into the room? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Is the story
because
of Richard Nixon showing Jackie Gleason an alien corpse at an Air Force base in Houston real? Like, how far down do we go? Is
I don't
Eisenhower
know.
shaking hands with an alien in the White House fucking
maybe
real? I don't
Fire
know.
in the Sky? You ever watch that? Fire in the Sky
yeah.
fucked me up
Yes.
as a
Indeed.
kid. If that shit's real, holy shit.
Yeah, I don't know
Hmm.
where it stands, but very interesting news is always coming out about UFOs now, and there are always these new videos coming out, and it seems like the ones they are leaking are getting more and more specific, more and
I-
more hard to deny. And I think, I mean, the government, the people who are working on this shit, I think have crystal clear photographic evidence of
Yes.
alien craft and whatever.
We're
and it's only a
getting the
matter of
slow
time
burn.
before they exactly.
But
they're
don't
trying
you
to
think-
acclimate
don't-
us to it as a
Yeah.
population?
Don't you think? Don't you think if our government, they have been lying about this all along?
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
you think there'd be a whistleblower somewhere?
There have been,
was-
and those
Yeah.
people get killed, silenced, discredited, made
Yeah.
to look stupid. There's a guy named Bob Lazar. Look him up. He claims to have worked on reverse engineering using a UFO that they had in a hangar right outside Area 51 back in the 80s. And he had all these wild claims of different technologies it had and stuff. And now, especially, there was an element, I forget what it was, like element 151 or something. It's an element that doesn't exist or didn't then. We have since been able to synthesize a few atoms of that element. So we now know that it is possible to produce it. And he always claimed that there was like a perfectly made pyramid of this element in this UFO that he was working on. And now that we have that element, it's like, well, that kind of seems like it may be true. All right. Anyway, let's move on. We've simmered down. Now it's time
You're
to
more
heat back
worried
up.
about the UFOs than China. I love it.
I'm not worried about them. I love it. But let's move on. Topic number 3 is the Fox News Dominion settlement. Fox Corporation and Fox News have agreed to pay $787.5 million in a settlement for a defamation lawsuit brought by Dominion Voting Systems. The resolution was announced just before the case was set to go to trial. Dominion Voting Systems originally sought $1.6 billion in damages, arguing that Fox News had aired false claims that Dominion's ballot counting machines were used to manipulate the 2020 U.S. election in favor of Democrat Joe Biden over Republican Donald Trump. Dominion argued that these on-air claims caused the company, in quotes, enormous and irreparable economic harm. Fox argued that the coverage of vote rigging claims was inherently newsworthy and protected by the U.S. Constitution's First Amendment guarantee of press freedom of speech, but a Delaware judge recently ruled that Fox cannot invoke free speech protections in its defense where false news was purposely being reported, which is now known to be the case since the release of several text messages from Fox News personalities that revealed their clear understanding that they were purposely lying on television. Mom, did Fox News do anything wrong?
I don't even understand any of that you just said.
Okay.
Yes,
Let me put
Fox
it very
did-
simply.
Yes, Fox did
Fox-
something wrong, and that's just the first of many. And one thing you got to remember is, if Dominion was suing for 1.6 million and settled for a third of it, they don't think they were going to win the case anyway. And Fox saw a way out of it. But the bottom line is, this is a slap to the First Amendment. And all these media companies have been doing the same fucking thing. And they're all
Well,
gonna
no,
get...
they haven't been doing what Fox News was doing.
Yes, they have.
Fox News, Mom, to boil this down, all these texts got leaked.
Murdoch. That's all
Okay.
you got to know.
Okay.
Yep, that's the CEO.
Yeah. And
Pretty
he's a
good.
fucking left-wing cracker.
So they lied. So Fox
Yes,
News
all these
lied.
a bunch of people who are high up in Fox News, including like Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson, like people on camera too. These text messages came out essentially saying they knew that Dominion did not fuck over the thing. They knew Trump lost. They accepted the reality of it, but then they went on air and promoted the story that the
Otherwise.
Dominion voting machines were tampered with
lied.
purposely to
Right.
rig the election.
And
Okay.
all the media lies.
Okay. So
Of course. So they
So they
basically
had
were
to pay
making
the
up fake
settlement?
stories for their base, for people like you to further the idea that the election was rigged. Dominion, the company that owns these voting machines, was like, you can't fucking say that because now we can't.
That's a spot. That's a pimple on an elephant's ass compared
Oh
to
my
all this
God.
corruption that went on in the election.
But does this make you question like what else they've lied to you about and what you can and cannot trust from your
No.
news sources?
My news source is Newsmax. Everything else is shit.
But Newsmax was saying the same thing.
Good. Prove
They
them
were
wrong.
promoting the same lie.
No,
this
they weren't.
this does prove them wrong.
Well, no, it doesn't. They're not being sued.
No, but they were saying the same exact lie that Fox News
Doesn't
was.
matter. I want to see some lawsuits.
Okay, I
And the
truly
fact
don't
that you
understand
settled,
that.
and the fact that you settled for a third of your lawsuit
Yeah.
tells me you don't think you were right anyway.
Okay. Now you mentioned that this is a freedom of speech issue. You believe
It is. It's a freedom. No, it's not a freedom of speech issue.
Mhm.
It's a freedom of the right of the media to be protected under the First Amendment. And now that's gone. So that means all these media outlets that think, like MSNBC and all these other cocksuckers, they can now be sued and lose money.
That's
So there's-
always been the case. You have always
No,
been able to
you're
sue
wrong.
news outlets for
you
defamation.
are fucking wrong.
Hulk
That is not
Hogan
the case.
fucking erased what was it? Not BuzzFeed.
It is not.
Gawker. Hulk Hogan took Gawker to court, won that settlement. They're gone. Gawker is fucking bankrupt. He destroyed an entire news outlet.
Good.
This happened maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's gonna
So
happen.
you
again.
have to have integrity or you'll
Well, I'm
go
just
down.
saying what you're saying that this has never happened before is wrong. It's happened within the past 10 years, but also anyone can sue any of these fucking news companies.
But now it's going to be plentiful. There are going to be so many lawsuits. It's going to be ridiculous.
But you have to be able to prove defamation, which in this case they were about to. That's why they settled.
Is that right?
Yes.
No,
That was
I
the
think
deal.
Fox settled because they think $480 million is a spit in the can compared to $1.6 billion.
Well, it was 787 million, first of all.
Well, whatever it is. It's less than
They
half.
wanted to keep their thing going, I guess. Everybody
Haley,
lies.
Do you think this is a freedom of speech issue?
No,
It's not freedom of speech.
no, they were
It's
blatantly
First
lying.
Amendment rights of the media.
Yeah, that's freedom of speech.
You got freedom of speech? No.
What's the First Amendment?
I am not even getting into
Dad?
this with people.
What's the First Amendment?
It's freedom of speech.
The First Amendment provides that Congress can make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting its free exercise. It protects freedom of speech, the press, assembly, and the right to petition the government for a redress of grievances.
There
So
you
it's
go.
freedom of speech, as
Yeah.
we said.
Yeah.
So it is a freedom of speech issue.
But you can no longer.
Mom's holding up her Trump flag.
You can no longer go out there and babble your fucking brains out lying like a motherfucker. You can't get away with it just because you're the media.
Okay, so if Newsmax gets sued successfully, will you denounce them?
No,
Okay, why not?
because they're in line with me, and that makes them perfect.
But they are literally just feeding you what you want to hear. That
Yes.
is case in point
Love
with
it.
Fox
Love
News
every
here.
fucking minute of it.
So you don't
I'll
even
watch it
care if
all
it's
day.
true.
I don't either.
Let me ask you this. This is a bigger kind of philosophical question, I guess. Do you ever at any point think it's possible that the world you've kind of created in your mind isn't maybe accurate?
No.
What
Okay.
are you talking about
You
now?
know why?
Why?
Because I've seen what's coming, and it's coming.
How have you seen it?
Well, you
Dreams.
guys have
Dreams, Mom says.
No.
What?
Wow, I ain't got no dreams.
Ain't no goddamn dreams.
Let me put it to you so you can understand it.
Okay,
Oh,
quick.
please,
and don't
thank
call
you.
them dumb names.
You've been at physical war with the Chinese for over 60 years, and it's just starting to catch up with us. They figured out that they couldn't beat us in a military war without taking half their country out. So what they're going to do is they're going to backdoor our ass and do it through the financial system. And your dollar isn't going to be worth 2 fucking cents. You're going to have to sell a cake for $7,000 a pop in order to make $20.
Chad,
Sounds pretty good.
you better start.
No, she
Stop.
won't. She'll get $20 out of the 7,000 because it's going to be traded in yuan. It's not going to be traded in dollars.
Okay.
When is this happening?
It's happening as you're sitting on your fat ass right now.
my
listening.
God.
Jesus Christ.
Quit saying that, Haley.
about
your
You-
fat ass?
You apologize.
Sorry, I called you fat ass. But anyway,
Say it again.
A
It's okay.
fucking
I accept
apology
it.
out of him.
I accept it.
Whoa.
but
Yeah,
That may be the
I
first
know.
apology I've
But
ever
I'm
It
gonna
seen.
kind
tell
of took me by surprise. I'm
It
gonna
is
be
already-
honest.
He's
it's
changing. This
already-
podcast
it's
is
already
working.
happening. Shut up, Chad. The Saudi Arabians have just joined to use yuan to sell their oil to China instead of dollars.
Okay.
That's
So what
scary.
that means is when Joe Biden rolls out the $100 bills on his printing presses,
Yeah.
our dollar value is going to keep declining until the yuan is what everybody in the world wants to trade with. Now, once that happens, the United States of America has lost World War III.
Hmm.
They won't have to fire a shot.
Here's
But what
what's
about the
scary.
race war? Will
Huh?
we be fighting World War III, a war
might
against the
be in the
aliens
middle.
and the race war simultaneously?
Yes.
We might be. Yes,
Here-
very
and
possible.
a land
Because
war.
the closer you come to us losing the war to the Chinese, the meaner we're going to get.
And you know what? A land war. The Chinese are over here buying up acres and acres and acres. If y'all don't know that already.
Oklahoma?
Just to remind everybody.
Yes,
Yes,
Oklahoma,
absolutely.
Texas, down by Houston. Everything around my friend down there is being bought up by Chinese.
Yes.
Everything. That's why your governor wants that law that you have to prove you're not any part of the government before you buy land down there, Haley.
Just
they're
to
buying up-
remind you, this segment was about the Dominion settlement with Fox News. We have to
Guess
move on
what?
now.
Guess what?
Guess what?
A good
Your
narrative.
segment got tore all this
Chinese.
shit, didn't it?
111 Chinese.
All right, let's move on to our fourth and final topic. We are talking about the Montana House
You
Republicans.
all laugh. It's right in
All
your
right.
fucking
Let
back
Chad
door
talk.
now.
We are
It's
talking
happening
about
right now.
the
And
Montana
back
House
door.
Republicans demanding censure for a Democratic trans House member. A number of Republican lawmakers from the Montana Freedom Caucus are demanding Democratic State Rep. Zoe Zephyr be censured by the State House for, in quotes, using inappropriate and uncalled for language during a floor debate over amendments concerning a bill that bans medical care for transgender minors. Zephyr's statements were as follows, in quote, if you are forcing a trans child to go through puberty when they are trans, that is tantamount to torture. And this body should be ashamed. The only thing I will say is if you vote yes on this bill and yes on these amendments, I hope the next time there's an invocation, when you bow your heads in prayer, you see the blood on your hands. That's what she said. And they're demanding a censure for this. The Montana Freedom Caucus weighed in after Zephyr's speech, calling for the lawmaker's censure, saying, in quotes, this kind of hateful rhetoric from an elected official is exactly why tragedies such as the Covenant Christian School shooting in Nashville occurred, blaming a mass shooting on what she said. In their call for the immediate censure of Zephyr, the Montana Freedom Caucus misgendered Zephyr, who uses she, her pronouns, in a tweet that read, in quotes, our caucus is calling for the immediate censure of transgender Rep. Zoe Zephyr after his threatening and deeply concerning comments on the House floor earlier today. According to Zephyr, on Wednesday evening, Montana Speaker of the House Matt Rieger, a Republican, said he would refuse to allow Zephyr to partake in debate for the remainder of the legislative session and has repeatedly ignored her attempts to engage in debates on bills that affect the trans community on the Senate floor. My question is this. Mom, was what she said so bad that she should be censured?
Yes.
So then you also believe Marjorie Taylor Greene should be censured?
She doesn't say bad things like that.
Huh? She says things way worse than that. Dad,
Yeah.
should she be censured for this?
Yes. And here's another thing. I'm sick and tired of 1% of our population trying to make fucking laws and the rules. And that shit's going to stop.
But the laws and the rules that they're talking about affect the trans community. These are literally laws about trans people.
That's what
I
I'm
mean,
talking
You
about.
have a trans
I'm
person
sick and
in that
tired of-
conversation?
I'm
Tough-
sick and tired
tough
of men
bananas.
making laws for women for my
Well-
reproductive health.
Oh, is that right?
How about
That's
the
right.
trans? How about the trans guys that want to play women's sports? It's okay to
Mom,
knock someone out.
can you put
and
yourself on
crush
camera?
Their fucking brains.
Can you put yourself on camera, Mom?
Oh,
Mhm.
yes. I'm sorry.
Cameras work better if they can see the person talking.
How well I was taking care of Kitty. How about the trans guy, or it's a woman? No, let's see.
MMA
Trans
fighter.
woman.
Yes, I have. It's the
Who
MMF
crushed
fighter.
Another woman's skull.
I
in a
have her name.
MMM fight.
Is that okay?
Okay,
What?
it's MMA.
Yeah, oh,
Here,
you didn't hear
Let me
about
get the
that?
name.
It's
No.
MMA.
I thought you
and
were
the
talking about the
point-
volleyball thing.
Whatever it is,
When
it's
The
it's that
point of
goddamn.
MMA is to
it's fighting in
literally
a
beat the
cage.
fuck out
Okay,
of someone.
big-
They had a
quiet.
man beat the shit out of a woman
No.
so bad that he crushed her skull.
I have the name. Transgender MMA fighter Fallon Fox beat her female opponent Tamika Brents so severe that she broke her skull. Is
And
that
he said,
right?
And he said he'd do it again to all of them.
Yeah, he said, "Bring them on."
Do you
I'll
ever
it all
watch
There's
for
MMA?
you."
obviously big debate going on right now
that
about
just
how
happens
should
to be
sports be
news,
handled.
Haley.
Sports seems to be the place where there might actually be valid debate here. I don't think
Oh.
there's valid debate where like people using bathrooms and shit like that just seems insane to me. Who gives a shit where somebody's taking a shit?
I care if
I
somebody
care.
sees my vagina or not.
Does
I wanna-
anybody in a bathroom ever do that though?
Yeah, how many women have seen
Ever?
your vagina in a bathroom?
Like ever? No
Are you guys
one.
just in there checking each other's vaginas?
Okay, that's not
You have
even
to show
nice.
Hearing
vaginas to each
under?
other when
What do you
when
got? What's
walk
going
into the
on?
I
bathroom?
do not
Nobody does
want
that.
to be in a bathroom with a male that has a dick.
You aren't. You aren't. There have been
Oh.
transgender females in bathrooms with you, guaranteed, and you don't even know it.
I think I would know it.
You would not.
You got to remember where we live.
Yeah, I think I would know it.
What's that?
United States of America?
Oklahoma?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I want
Well-
everyone in that bathroom to have a vagina like
It's a little
me.
different here
Why?
because we don't.
That's the way
have-
we were
So then
raised.
you would
didn't
accept
grow
If
a
up-
you're a woman,
A trans man?
We didn't grow
Yeah.
up with fucking crazy.
So
If
you'd
you're
be
a
cool
woman-
with it. You'd be cool with a trans guy that has
No.
a vagina coming into a women's bathroom,
No.
even
No.
though that's a man.
no,
So you then accept that that is a man.
I accept from birth whether you are a male or a female. From birth. From
Okay.
birth.
Let me ask you this. Just aside from the whole trans issue, this is a person. Let's take trans out of it theoretically here. This is
I'm
a
happy-
person who
I'm
is
happy to go ahead.
this is a
walking
person
dead.
who is being affected by this bill literally and specifically. And this person is being silenced by the House, by the House leader. She's hitting the button to speak, and the House leader literally is ignoring it, does not let her engage in this debate. Should House majorities be able to silence anyone they want
No.
in a House floor to mitigate their ability to have meaningful debate about bills that affect them?
They
No.
should be
No, but
taken the fuck out.
if they're on bullhorns and causing such a
She's
commotion-
not. That's not what we're talking about. This is not the Tennessee 3. This is a whole different thing. It's a different person.
It was basically an impassioned plea.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do this shit, and if you do, it's on your fucking hands.
You are shifting
Where are
to
you?
a different story.
Where are you?
Mom's talking about the racist guy that got kicked out of the
Tennessee
Congress
3.
for breaking the rules and running his big blabbermouth
He got
Okay.
reinstated
racist
as well.
ass.
What?
Reinstated
uh,
the very next week.
Right.
He's
And
a-
invited to the White House. So
And he's
see,
a- and
that's
he's
the
a,
kind
and he's a racist.
that's the kind of behavior that is looked at as great in our country.
We're not talking about that. We're talking
Okay.
about this thing that happened in Montana. Let me
And
ask
why
you
did
this.
they silence? Why did they silence him?
They silenced her because she said literally this line. The only thing I will say is if you vote yes on this bill and yes on these amendments, I hope the next time there's an invocation, when you bow your heads in prayer, you see the blood on your hands. That is it.
Yeah. That's a pretty bad statement.
But
not
it's true. Like, it's
That
all rooted in truth. Like, children are killing themselves because they don't have access to gender reaffirming care. Like, this is a fucking epidemic among the LGBTQ community.
And then let me just remind you of this. The Freedom Caucus then said this in response. This kind of hateful rhetoric from an elected official is exactly why tragedies like the Covenant Christian school shooting in Nashville occurred. Do you believe that's true?
I don't know about that so much, but
They're
I
trying
don't.
to pin a mass shooting of children on this House member who just said you have blood on your hands.
Yeah, no, we know why that shooting happened, because that person down there was mentally whacked,
Had guns,
and mentally off, and needed mental help.
Is Dad left again? He's gone to lay down, take a nap.
No, he's still here. He had to go let Kitty out.
Let me ask you this question. You seem to be in favor of at least censuring this member of the Montana House, and I guess in favor of completely silencing her and omitting her from a conversation about bills and laws that are being passed that affect the trans community in Montana.
that
Let me
she
ask you this.
directly is linked to.
What is so bad about allowing the one trans person in the Montana House the ability to talk about these bills? It's the only person that should be talking about them, honestly.
Right. But she shouldn't get up there and say blood on your hands or whatever she said,
Why?
a line like that.
What happened to freedom of speech?
Well, that just enrages people more when you speak like that.
But you're either for freedom of speech or you're not. And in the Dominion voting thing, it seems like you were, but now you're not.
Let me enlighten you.
Okay.
You lost
Quit
freedom of
yelling.
speech the day Barack Obama became president.
Huh?
Huh? You lost freedom of speech.
I heard what you said. In
The
what way?
very
Can you
day
explain this
that
bizarre
piece of
comment?
shit took office.
Why?
Please sit down. I can't keep walking around with this. Why did you lose freedom of speech? Chad asked.
Hello?
Why?
What's he doing?
Get a drink now. I'm so fucking sick of this.
You
shit.
have to get your drinks,
Hold
your
this.
snacks, and
How-
take your dogs out to pee before
Hold
we
it.
film.
She had to poop. That's more important than this.
Oh my God.
Anyway, Barack Obama controls the deep state, has since day one.
Yeah.
His goal is to, and I quote,
Destroy America.
transform America forever. Because I hate this fucking country and I am a goddamn Muslim.
That is not a direct quote. Never
It
said
is.
that.
Well, not the back part, but I will transform the face of America forever is a quote.
Yeah, great.
If
Yeah.
only.
Everybody
he's a
transforms
piece-
the face of America forever. Literally every day
And
that we
he's
wake up.
and he's a piece of shit.
Okay, so again, how did he get rid of our freedom of speech?
Yes.
How?
How? I just told you. He
No, you
controls the
didn't.
deep state. He
And what
has
does
the
that have to do with
DOJ.
anything?
He has the DOJ. He has the FBI. He has the Department of State all in his back pocket, and they do whatever he says. And they control the media. And if you don't do what they say, the media gets arrested. They get their door kicked in. They get all that bullshit. None of that's
What?
happened to any Democrats. How come any Democrats haven't had their door kicked in by the FBI in the middle of the night under gun?
Exactly.
Oh, but you know what? Every Muslim, transgendered, or whatever the hell you want to call them has never been affected by this shit. But you got goddamn Christian Catholics at home with 7 kids hit by the FBI under armed guard
Yeah.
and arrested. So don't
Okay.
sit here and tell me, and all this crap started not 2 years ago. This shit started 10 years ago.
Okay.
And it's all, I'm telling you right now,
Why don't
the
they
guy behind this whole ugly fucking mess in America is Barack fucking Obama.
Yeah, why don't they knock down Hunter Biden's doors?
He's under active investigation.
Yeah, but they didn't kick his fucking door in and drag him out in
Yeah.
chains, did they?
He's under
Who did they
active
do that to?
investigation.
Oh, they
Are you
they
saying Trump
arrested-
got drug out of his house in chains?
Well, he got
Kicked
his
down.
house
His
molested,
family.
and he got arrested and fingerprinted. And what
Yeah.
did he do? What did he do? Nothing.
So many
Maybe
things.
committed 34 felonies. I
Nothing.
mean, that's
He
what he's
did
indicted
nothing.
for.
Hey, crackhead.
We're still waiting for the fat black man to tell us
Let me
what he
talk.
did.
Crackhead Hunter over in Ireland on the airplane with his dad. But he's under investigation. That was trying to show people my son's.
We're
the
above
greatest.
anything you can do.
You know what
with it.
Hunter Biden never did?
What?
Hung out with Jeffrey Epstein. Can you say that about Trump?
Well, you don't know if his dad did or not, because they have now supposedly ran a prostitution ring.
Why
The
aren't
Bidens.
Uh-huh.
The Bidens.
The Bidens?
They
That's
just were
in
like,
some
fuck
of
it.
their 150.
That's in some of their
Side gigging.
filings that they're going to come out.
Yep. Prostitution ring. How
They
about
ran
that?
a prostitution ring, and I'll bet you $50 in Joe's prostitution rings. There were kids.
Okay.
Hey,
That
look,
fucking smelly
I'm
little
kind of
bastard.
on your side on this. I do think at this point, after watching that Dalai Lama thing where he asked the little kid to suck on his
my
tongue,
God.
I'm like, everybody's a fucking pedophile. If you're
Yeah.
above a certain level of power in
Jesus
the world,
Christ.
you're a pedophile.
You know
Period.
what? When some of this came out a long time ago, like before Trump won the election but didn't, a lot of my Christian friends and stuff were saying that Biden's a pedophile, that they have kids in
I think he
chains and all
is.
this stuff. And I was like, what?
When
I
he's
believe
sniffing
that.
those little kids' heads, that's fucking bizarre.
Yeah, I believe it.
I think he probably is too. I think Clinton was. Trump
Oh.
definitely is.
Yeah. No. Don't get me.
Trump said in a fucking interview he wanted to have sex with his daughter.
Oh God, Chad.
There's
He
photos
said
and
it.
shit of her like
Okay.
sitting on his lap, and it's just weird and it's
He said if she
awkward.
wasn't my daughter, I'd be dating her. He said
Yeah.
that. That is a direct quote.
Yep.
Well, this has been a great podcast. It's time, like we always do, to say we love each other.
That's true. Mom's producing the end of it now. Go ahead, Mom.
I love you, Chad. I love you, Haley. I love you, Bob. And I think Biden is the worst president in the history of the United States.
Wow. Worse than Nixon.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
All
Bob.
right.
I love you, Chad. I love you, Haley. You Chinese deterrents. You're going to find out the hard way.
Deterrence.
Enemies of
Yeah.
the state. Just keep
Enemies
it simple.
Well, you two are way past enemies of the state. You're actually sitting on your butt watching your state go down the toilet.
Keep it simple.
And I love Mary Lou. And I love Donald Trump.
I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. I love you, Chad. Today is Harper's birthday. Hey, everybody call
Yeah,
her.
hey, I already called her.
I'm going to do it as soon as we get off here. I love you, Dad. I love you, Mom. I love you, Haley. And I love the aliens. I hope that they get here soon to help us usher in this new era of artificial intelligence. And hopefully it'll be a utopia. Hopefully we can put all of our political differences aside. If anyone out there listening wants to send in a question for next week, again, we're going to try this and see if it works. Record yourself in a 1 minute or less clip of audio. Email it to thenecessaryconversationpod at gmail.com. And I'll take a listen, and hopefully we can plug in the audio into this thing. But thanks, everyone, and we will see you next week.